The journey begins now. Welcome back, comic lore lovers. Tonight, we explore a question that has haunted fans for decades. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and let the story carry you away. Feel the quiet settle around you. Let your breath slow. With each exhale, feel a gentle release in your shoulders. Your mind drifts, light as a feather. We often take certain heroes for granted. Their presence feels fundamental. They are anchors in their worlds, but what if one vital thread was never woven in? Imagine a soft, cool night air filling your space. A faint, distant hum provides a gentle backdrop. We ponder a world where a certain fierce, gruff mutant chose a different path. We are talking, of course, about Logan, the Wolverine. His entry into the X-Men's ranks is a cornerstone of comic history. It reshaped mutant kind's destiny. It certainly reshaped Logan's own violent existence. He found purpose, community, and even a strange sense of family. But there was a moment, a precise flicker in time, a crossroads where another road beckoned, a path less traveled. This road was far darker. It promised even more isolation. It was a choice born of instinct, of old habits. The X-Men found him, often a reluctant recruit. In our timeline, he joined them, though never entirely willingly. But tonight, we consider the other side. The story of a Wolverine who chose not to answer the call. What if that deep growl in the wilderness never truly joined the chorus? Think back to Logan's first true introduction to the world. Not just as a weapon. It was a chaotic, primal brawl. The raging Hulk, the monstrous Wendigo, and a mysterious Canadian agent. This agent, codenamed Wolverine, was a government operative. He was sent to retrieve the Hulk, an untamed force brimming with rage. A man of incredible healing, yes, and those terrifying, retractable claws. Professor Charles Xavier saw something deeper within him. A wild card, certainly, but also a fiercely loyal protector. A potential X-Man. He extended an invitation, an offer for Logan to join the Xavier Institute, a place, perhaps, to call home. A chance for something beyond endless, brutal missions. Logan was a weapon, forged in pain. Xavier sought to guide him, to give his immense rage direction, to make him part of a found family. In our familiar history, he begrudgingly accepted. He joined Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Banshee. He became an indispensable, often irritating member. He was the necessary edge, the one not afraid to do what others wouldn't. His presence changed the X-Men. Perhaps they even changed him. But what if he didn't accept? What if he just walked away? Back into the cold night. Back to the deepest shadows he knew. Perhaps a mild chill now touches your skin. Imagine the cool, smooth metal of his dog tags, clink together faintly, softly. We stand at that exact, pivotal moment. The offer is made. The choice hangs heavy in the silent, cool night air. What would this mean for him? A life without the X-Men, without the moral compass of Xavier, without the often annoying banter of Cyclops. Would he truly find peace in isolation? Or would his inner beast simply consume him, unbridled? Picture him now, walking away. His heavy, muffled footsteps disappear into the damp earth of a silent forest. The rough bark of ancient, looming trees scratches at his uniform as he brushes past. He breathes in the cool night air, now thick with the faint scent of dried leaves and damp soil. This choice means more than just a different job. It means a fundamentally different Logan. A Wolverine, unanchored from the light, his prodigious healing factor, always a blessing and a curse. It would preserve him through countless battles. But from what would it truly preserve him? From becoming truly human. From finding a reason to live beyond the next brutal fight. The stakes, as you can feel, are profound. Not just for Logan, the man, but for the very fabric of the Marvel Universe itself. Without his raw ferocity, who would stand against certain, overwhelming threats? Who would deliver the brutal, decisive blow that sometimes only he, with his adamantium claws, could? The X-Men would be weaker, surely. Perhaps profoundly, irrevocably so. The world would shift, imperceptibly at first. Quietly, inexorably, this singular divergence creates a ripple. A silent wave expanding across countless timelines. And we are here, in this quiet, reflective space, to watch that ripple spread, to understand its full, somber implication, to witness a path less chosen, and the heavy consequences it brings. The cool night air clung to Logan's weathered skin. The professor's words lingered, a soft whisper against the deep forest silence. He felt the familiar weight of his dog tags, cool metal against his chest. An invitation to a place of light, but the shadows called deeper. He turned his back to the faint glow. The rustling of leaves became his only companion. The damp scent of pine filled his lungs. He walked, a phantom in the deep woods. The offer of family, of belonging, began to recede. It was a faint echo now. Logan followed the primal urges within him. He found a quiet spot near an old-growth pine. The smooth bark felt cool against his back. His keen eyes scanned the quiet forest floor. Faint animal tracks marked the damp earth. This solitude was his true nature. The X-Men's path was not his own. The quiet carried forward, revealing only the soft crunch of dried leaves beneath Logan's boots. You might imagine the faint scent of damp earth rising to meet him. Cool and rich, he felt a peculiar lightness, a burden shed with each silent stride. The weight of Xavier's earnest expectations, now now a distant memory, began to recede. The cold night air, crisp and invigorating, filled his lungs, his keen senses, honed over decades of solitary survival, stretched into the silent darkness around him. He was truly alone, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, and a raw sense of untamed freedom began to settle deep within him. Moving deeper into the scene, the dense forest eventually thinned, giving way to sparse, gnarled trees. He found himself on the dusty outskirts of what looked like a long-forgotten logging town, the faintest, flickering glow of a distant neon sign, a ghost of past life, pierced the gloom far ahead. He sought the familiar comfort of anonymity, the deepest shadows that only urban decay could provide. An old, abandoned cabin, its rough, unpainted wooden planks leaning precariously, offered a temporary haven. Its musty scent of damp earth and forgotten timber permeated the air, a desolate comfort. Inside the crumbling cabin, a profound stillness settled, disturbed only by the gentle sigh of the wind through broken windows. He found a broken wooden crate, its surface splintered and rough beneath his touch, and sat, pale moonlight diffused by grimy panes, filtered in, painting soft, shifting shapes across the dusty floor. His gaze drifted down to the familiar dog tags, the cool metal clinking softly against his chest. A quiet rhythm in the deeper silence. There was no mission now, no professor's guiding voice, no team to protect or irritate. Just the vast, empty canvas of his own choosing. The abandoned cabin stood before Logan, its sagging porch a testament to time's slow crawl. He pushed the creaking door inward. A faint, dusty light filtered through grimy window panes. The air inside felt heavy, thick with the scent of decaying wood and long-forgotten lives. His boots stirred a thin layer of dust on the rough-hewn floorboards. A broken chair lay overturned in one corner, its splintered legs pointing accusingly at the ceiling. He found a relatively intact section of the cabin near the cold hearth. The rough planks of the wall offered a firm, unyielding support as he leaned against them. Outside, the distant, flickering neon sign cast a faint, almost ghostly amber glow against the deep night sky, a stark contrast to the cabin's quiet darkness. The chill in the air prompted him to gather a few loose, dry splinters. With a practiced motion, a small, controlled spark from his lighter brought a tiny flame to life, casting dancing shadows. The faint smell of burning pine needles began to warm the air around him. He watched the gentle rise of smoke, a quiet ritual. The small flame crackled softly, a lone sound in the vast silence. Logan watched it, his mind drifting, unhurried. He recalled the professor's voice, a gentle offer of a different kind of warmth. He felt the weight of choices, not as burdens, but as paths etched deep into his very being. The untamed freedom he had embraced, the raw solitude, felt like an inseparable part of him now. There was a peaceful resolve in this acceptance. The small flame danced. It was a tiny heart beating in the cabin's quiet. Logan watched the smoke curl upward, carrying the scent of pine. He felt the rough wood against his back. A deep, almost forgotten question stirred. What if that other path had been taken? A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. The thought lingered. A sense of an empty space touched his mind. It was a missing piece, not his absence, but the absence of an essence. What might they lack? He shifted, letting the fire dwindle. Only soft embers remained. The brief flicker of curiosity about an alternate future faded. His path was clear now. This quiet, wild freedom, this untamed existence was his choice. The quiet carried forward, revealing. A faded memory surfaced. He pictured a snowy, desolate landscape. The X-Men, without his ferocity, seemed softer, less able to cut through the true darkness. The flickering warmth from the small fire touched his face. He thought of a specific name, Stryker. Without him, who faced the mad colonel, the X-Men always needed a blunt instrument. A different outcome, darker and grimmer, seemed inevitable. Outside, the distant neon pulsed a faint, almost mournful red. The world continued its spin, indifferent. But without him, perhaps a hero was lost. Someone he might have saved. A life extinguished too soon. Yet he was here, in this quiet cabin. The thought of that darker path settles. It leaves a quiet echo in your mind. You feel the cabin's deepening stillness around you. The flickering fire, now just embers, casts long, dancing shadows. These shadows play across the rough wooden walls. This alternate world, without Wolverine, felt different. It seemed less guarded, perhaps, more vulnerable to the true shadows it faced. The air grows noticeably cooler as the small fire dims further. You can almost sense the missing ferocity. The world, in many ways, needed that wild edge. It required a blunt instrument, a protector unafraid of the brutal truth. Without him, many iconic battles might have been lost. Beloved heroes may have fallen too soon, leaving lasting scars. The weight of these possibilities rests gently, not heavily. It brings a deep understanding, an appreciation for the canonical path that was taken, the one where he did find his challenging place among the X-Men. The rough wooden walls seem to hold these silent histories. Each splinter, each knot, a tiny, unmoving witness. The faint, earthy scent of old wood lingers. It mixes with the last whispers of pine smoke from the hearth. Outside, the distant neon sign still glows, a steady, pulsing amber. It reminds you of the vibrant world beyond this quiet space. A world that might have been, a world that perhaps, by gentle grace, was not. You listen to the soft, occasional crackle of the dying embers, a quiet sigh of what could have been. A soft, settling calm begins to spread within you. This journey through a different, unspoken past slowly unwinds now. You consider the silent ripples it creates. How seemingly small choices can, in fact, reshape everything. The X-Men, without their berserker, found other strengths, no doubt. Perhaps a deeper, more profound compassion guided them. Or maybe a more subtle, intellectual strategy won the day. But something vital was undeniably lost. A primal force, a fierce, protective roar, was absent. The warm scent of lingering pine needles fades completely now. Only the cold, clean air of the cabin remains. You feel a gentle ease spreading through your chest. The weight of possibility, once considered, now lifts. Knowing a story helps you understand its intricate truth. Even a story left untold, a path not ultimately chosen. You drift a little deeper into this profound quiet. The cabin becomes a haven of soft, welcoming darkness. Your breath slows, becoming even and deep, a soothing rhythm. Thoughts of what wasn't, gentle whispers in your mind. They settle like tiny, illuminated dust motes in the pale moonlight. It filters softly through the high, small window, painting the floor. A delicate silver glow touches the rough floorboards. Each deep, slow breath you take deepens the calm. It washes over you like a gentle, receding tide. This alternate world, so vividly imagined, is now just a distant memory. A quiet, contemplative lesson learned in the dark. And so, the echoes of that profoundly different world recede. You are left with the quiet, comforting stillness of this very moment. A peaceful resolve settles deeply within you now. It is like wrapping yourself in a soft, warm, comforting blanket. Let your entire body relax completely. Feel the firm, unyielding ground beneath you, supporting you. The X-Men in our familiar, cherished story found their true strength. They found their wild, untamed heart in Logan. And he, in turn, found his challenging, yet crucial, purpose among them. This is the steadfast truth we carry with us tonight. A gentle, pervasive warmth now spreads throughout your limbs. The distant, muted hum of the world outside softens even further. It becomes a quiet, gentle lullaby of city lights far away. Your mind grows clear, completely calm and at ease. You feel the deep, encompassing stillness of the night. The clean, crisp scent of cool night air now fills the cabin entirely. It carries only pure, unburdened peace. No more what-ifs, no lingering questions, just quiet acceptance. Close your eyes softly, gently, let any remaining worries drift effortlessly away. The fascinating journey through alternate paths has ended. You are safe, warm here, now, exactly where you need to be. Ready for a deep, truly restful sleep. The final embers of the what if glow softly for one last moment. Then they fade completely, blending seamlessly into the embracing dark. The profound quiet deepens, a vast stillness surrounding you. In this silence, the echo of time passing feels immense. Logan, a lone wolf for so long, continued his relentless, solitary trek. He moved through shadowed valleys, the rough bark of ancient trees cool against his hand. His breath plumed faintly in the crisp, cold air. Years had etched deeper lines into his weathered face, a map of countless forgotten skirmishes. Moving deeper into the scene, the faint hum grew a fraction stronger. He found himself drawn towards a familiar, if somewhat faded, energy signature. His boots crunched on dry leaves, a muffled sound in the still night. Through a thicket of tangled branches, he glimpsed a pale light filtering. It was a flickering warmth, hinting at a hidden outpost. On the damp earth near a crumbling stone wall, he spotted something. He picked up the cold metal shard, its edges rough against his fingers. The soft shadows of the trees stretched long, dancing around him in the dim light. A faint scent of ozone, familiar from countless battles, hung in the air nearby. This symbol, broken and forgotten, spoke of a destiny he had consciously rejected. He remembered other faces, other voices, from a life that almost was. What would they be like now? A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. On the damp earth near a crumbling stone wall, he spotted something. It was a tarnished metal X, half buried in fallen leaves. The familiar symbol felt ancient, worn smooth by countless passing seasons. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth radiated from its cold surface. You feel a gentle curiosity about this relic. The symbol felt surprisingly heavy in his calloused hand. He turned it over, examining the deep scratches marring its surface. Each mark told a silent story of struggle, a faded memory. This symbol, once vibrant, now hinted at a lost cause. The outpost beyond the branches seemed to sigh with a similar weariness. Logan recognized the subtle energy now. He traced the outline of the X one last time with his thumb. The cold metal pressed against his skin, a small connection to a different path. This world had moved on, hardened and unforgiving. Without the X-Men, mutant kind's fight had taken a darker turn. But even here, in the quiet decay, a sliver of defiance remained. Logan felt a familiar stir within his own wild heart. Logan recognized the subtle energy now. It was the fading echo of a unique psionic signature, a whisper of something powerful also deeply tragic. He remembered a time long ago when such energy pulsed with vibrant hope. This outpost, quiet and half forgotten, must have been a place they had known. His fingers traced the worn edges of the X. Again, he stepped through the tangled branches. The rustling leaves a soft percussion. The outpost revealed itself fully. It was an old training ground, he realized. Moss-covered stone foundations outlined a collapsed building. A broken sentinel head lay half submerged in a shallow pool of rainwater, its optical sensors dark. The air here held the scent of damp earth and faded effort. Logan knelt beside the broken sentinel. Its metal shell felt cool beneath his touch. He ran a gloved finger along a hairline fracture. This wasn't a place of battle, not in the way he knew it. This was a place of preparation, of quiet lessons. He imagined young mutants, years ago, learning to hone their gifts here. Logan knelt beside the broken sentinel head. Its metallic surface felt cold, even through his thick gloves. One optical sensor, dark and vacant, stared up at the indifferent sky. He remembered these machines, their relentless hunt, the fear they instilled. This one, defeated and half buried, spoke of a battle long past, a silent testament to a world that had moved on. The tarnished X in his hand felt warmer now, a tiny ember of defiant memory. His gaze drifted beyond the sentinel, towards the faint outlines of a target range. Rusted metal plates, riddled with impact marks, stood half buried in the overgrown grass. Some bore the distinct, deep gouges of claws, others the scorched patterns of energy blasts. Each scarred plate was a silent testament to countless hours of dedication, to lessons learned and battles prepared for. He ran a gloved finger over a particular deep gouge, feeling the rough, cool metal. It wasn't his mark, but he recognized the sheer will behind such concentrated force. The quiet carried forward, revealing a path barely visible, winding between the targets. It led towards a cluster of larger, broken structures, almost entirely reclaimed by ivy and wild foliage. These must have been dormitories or classrooms, their purpose now swallowed by time. The air grew heavier here, thick with the scent of decaying wood and long-abandoned dreams. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth radiated from the ground beneath his boots, a last vestige of the powerful energy he detected earlier. It was like a dying ember, its glow fading with each passing moment. You shift your weight, the creak of your worn leather jacket a quiet counterpoint to the distant rustle of leaves. Your gaze lingers on the claw marks, then sweeps over a cluster of smaller, precisely placed impact points, perhaps from a blaster, or even a child's careful aim. Each scar tells a story of effort, of discipline, of a purpose you had never shared. A faint warmth lingers on one of the plates, as if a hand had just rested there, a ghost of an embrace. The quiet carried forward, revealing a small, discarded item partially buried in the damp earth near the target range. It is a faded, soft cloth doll, missing an eye, its simple stitches unraveling. You kneel again, brushing aside a handful of wet soil. The doll, small and worn, feels fragile in your large, gloved hand. It is a child's toy, undoubtedly. A child who trained here, or waited here. You think of Shadowcat, of Iceman, of those who joined young, their innocence blending with raw power. This simple toy whispers of a life, a family, a home these mutants had found in this place. The collapsed building was once a common room, perhaps, or a classroom. Broken benches lie overturned, shrouded in clinging vines. A blackboard, miraculously intact, still bears faded chalk diagrams of tactical formations, half-raced equations, and a crudely drawn caricature of a bald man with a knowing smile. You reach out, your finger tracing the ghostly outline of Xavier's face. You can almost hear the quiet hum of minds, the hopeful voices, the shared laughter. The chill of the outpost seeps into your bones, but a different kind of warmth blooms in your chest. A peaceful, quiet acceptance of the solitude you had chosen, and the powerful, gentle legacy these strangers had built. The small doll felt like a whisper in your hand. Its soft, faded cloth spoke of a child's simple joy, a life unfolding in this quiet place. You trace the unraveling stitches, imagining small fingers that once held it tight. This ground had been a sanctuary, a home. A calm understanding settles over you. You release the doll gently, placing it back on the damp earth. Your gaze lifts to the scarred metal plates. Each mark a testament to courage. The absence of the X-Men's symbol from this desolate place feels heavier now. A quiet truth settles deep within you. Your journey had been a solitary howl. A cool breeze rustles the overgrown grass around you. You stand, a faint breath leaving your lips. The lessons learned here, the bonds forged, they were not yours to claim. Your path had been carved in a different, harsher wilderness. You turn slowly, accepting the stark reality of your choices. A peaceful resolve in your gaze. The memory of the doll faded, replaced by the cool night air against your skin. A deep quiet settled around you. This ground, once vibrant with youthful energy, now held only echoes. The X-Men's symbol, a beacon of hope and unity, was utterly absent. Its lack here felt like a weight, a forgotten promise. You think of the professor, his dream, his chosen family, moving deeper into the scene. The cool grip of your own tools, still sheathed at your hip, felt familiar, reassuring. They were instruments of a different discipline, a harsher survival. You turned, your worn leather jacket creaking softly with the movement. The rustle of dry leaves under your heavy boots was the only sound breaking the profound silence. No joyful laughter, no shouted commands, just the quiet of your own solitary journey. You imagined a different life, a shared purpose, but those thoughts drifted away like smoke. The chill of the wind picked up, a silent companion on your unyielding path. You felt the weight of years of choices, each one leading you further into this stark reality. There was no grand mission, no team to rely on, only the constant hum of your own instincts. Your fingers brushed against the worn leather of your gloves, then the cold, smooth metal of a familiar weapon. It was a simple, pragmatic truth, survival unadorned. This was your sanctuary now, this endless, open road, stretching under the indifferent gaze of the moon, the faint echoes of what might have been faded. Your gaze shifted from the desolate ground. A narrow, overgrown trail appeared. It snaked away into the deeper forest. You sense a different kind of history there. The air felt cooler along this hidden path. A subtle curiosity began to stir within you. Moving deeper into the scene, the ground grew uneven. Your heavy boots crunched on dry leaves. Further on, a faint, almost imperceptible metallic hum met your ears. It was a sound out of place here. A strange wonder started to unfold. You push aside heavy branches. A glimpse of something manufactured, unnatural, shone through. The air here carried a faint, acrid scent. It spoke of old oils, of long-used machinery. You recognize the familiar, almost comforting smell. This was not Professor Xavier's pristine dream. Instead, it was the raw, brutal reality you knew. A deep, quiet calm settled over you. This path, though hidden, felt like home. Moving deeper into the scene, the heavy branches gave way. A structure emerged, not natural stone or wood, but aged metal. Rust spread like a slow disease across its plates. Orange and deep brown, moss softened the hard angles, a green velvet against the decay. The metallic hum grew clearer now, a low, steady thrum beneath the quiet of the forest. This place felt ancient, forgotten, yet strangely intact. In the gentle distance, a new element appears. You notice a recessed door, almost perfectly hidden within a seam of the structure. It was reinforced steel, thick and unyielding, blending into the surrounding panels. Faint, etched symbols marred its surface, barely discernible under layers of time. They were complex, angular, unlike any you had seen before, hinting at purposes long forgotten. The cool grip of your own tools, still sheathed at your hip, felt familiar and reassuring. The story draws inward, where the cold air stirred from the doorway, a subtle breath from within. It carried no discernible scent, just a deep, still emptiness that felt like the passage of many years. Your gaze settled on the dark entrance. No warning signs were needed here. You knew the nature of hidden things, their silence often a greater testament than any alarm. This path, solitary and unexpected, was now undeniably yours to follow. Moving deeper into the scene, the recessed door became clearer. You traced the faint, etched symbols with your gaze. They felt old, their edges softened by time. The reinforced steel pulsed with a low, steady hum, a quiet song beneath the forest's hush. Rust formed intricate patterns, like ancient script on the cold metal. You noticed how the moss, a vibrant green, clung to the corners, softening the unyielding angles. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. You reached out, your fingertips brushing against the cool, rough surface of the door. The etched symbols felt like tiny valleys beneath your touch. A subtle vibration resonated from the steel, a faint tremor against your palm. It wasn't just cold, there was a deeper stillness within it. You wondered about the hands that had carved these signs, the purpose behind their intricate design. The story draws inward, where a peaceful resolve now guided your thoughts. You felt the familiar shape of your lock-picking tools at your hip. They were an extension of yourself, a key to unlock the unknown. The door, silent now, except for its internal thrum, presented a challenge. But it wasn't a daunting one. The weight of anticipation was light, almost a comfort. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle truth as your fingers lingered. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth bloomed from the steel into your fingertips. It was a gentle pulse, a memory echoing from deep within the aged metal. The air around you grew stiller, heavy with the weight of forgotten time. You felt the quiet history of this secluded, forgotten place. A low, steady thrum, already present, deepened just a fraction. It was a sound felt more than heard. It resonated through your palm, a quiet insistence from the structure's core. The intricate symbols on the door seemed to pulse with this rhythm. You sensed a deeper purpose now, beyond mere decoration, hinting at hidden mechanisms. You withdrew your hand slowly, a quiet understanding settling within you. This was more than just a barrier. It was a key. The complex patterns, the persistent hum, all pointed to an invitation, a challenge. A path seemed to lay open, beckoning you into its forgotten depths. You prepared to explore what lay beyond. The cool, deep stillness of the steel shifted. A whisper of displaced air, ancient and dry, ghosted past your cheek. The subtle warmth from the door intensified ever so slightly, a gentle invitation. You felt the faint tremor in your palm grow more pronounced, a silent pulse beckoning you closer. A low, soft click, like old gears shifting into place, echoed from deep within the metal structure. The etched symbols, once static, now seemed to glow with a faint, internal light, a deep, muted amber that pulsed in rhythm with the thrum. The forest air, cool and carrying the scent of damp earth and pine, remained utterly still around this quiet revelation. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried. The faint, amber glow from the symbols seemed to converge along a vertical seam. With a sound like a long, slow sigh of ancient stone, a narrow crack appeared down the center of the door. A cool, stale air, carrying a faint metallic tang, gently drifted out, brushing against your skin. Through the growing sliver, you caught a fleeting glimpse of utter darkness, deeper than any night, hinting at vast, silent space within. The forest sounds, rustling leaves and distant calls, felt further away now, absorbed by the quiet drama unfolding before you. The next moment unfolds, revealing. As the narrow opening widened just a fraction more, the profound silence from within seemed to absorb all sound from the outside world. Your own quiet breath felt loud in the sudden void. You peered into the absolute blackness, a darkness so completed seemed to press back against your sight. There was no light within, only the faint shimmer of the cool, stale air as it continued to escape, carrying the scent of deep, ancient dust mixed with the metallic tang. You pondered the age of this place, the secrets it might hold, and the purpose behind its long, patient slumber beneath the earth. The darkness was not merely an absence of light, but a presence itself. It felt like an ancient slumber, disturbed. As the crack in the metal structure widened with a low groan, a faint, almost imperceptible scent drifted out, cold and metallic, like old iron mixed with ozone. You felt a soft, cool breath on your face, not of wind, but of displaced air from ages past. Beyond the amber-lit sliver, the utter blackness began to shimmer, hinting at vast, silent depths that stretched far beyond what the small opening should contain. This wasn't a room, but a void waiting. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle shift within the void. A faint, distant thrum, a steady pulse, seemed to emanate from the depths. It was a rhythm you could almost feel in your chest, a low vibration that hinted at a vast machine, or perhaps a living presence, deep within that inky expanse. The shimmering darkness began to coalesce very slowly into a shape, a hint of something tall and broad. It was not fully formed, merely an impression, a shadow against shadow, yet it carried a weight, a quiet power. A choice unseen seemed to echo through the space, a path diverging long ago, leading to this very moment. You felt a gentle tension building, a sense of anticipation for for what the darkness would finally reveal. Moving deeper into the scene, the silhouette solidified. It was undeniably a man, with a formidable, muscular build and a posture that spoke of ingrained solitude. His form was rugged, a blend of primal strength and battle-hardened resilience. No familiar yellow and blue, no bright insignia marked him. Instead, a muted, practical attire, dark and weathered, clung to his frame. You noticed the distinct, intense profile, a sharp jaw, the subtle hint of a wild mane of hair, and eyes that, even from this distance, seemed to carry the weight of countless unseen struggles. The thrum deepened now, a low, resonant hum that vibrated through the very air. The coalescing shape sharpened, losing its ethereal edges. It was undeniably tall, broad-shouldered, a human form, yet with an unmistakable feral edge to its posture, a familiar outline, stripped of any team emblem, emerged from the profound black. You felt a subtle chill, like a memory glimpsed through frosted glass, of a path that could have been. The silence around this emerging figure spoke volumes of solitude. A journey walked alone, moving deeper into the scene. The void seemed to recede, drawing inward, replaced by a new reality. A different kind of darkness now surrounded you, not empty, but thick with the damp earth and ancient pine scent. Moonlight, pale and cold, filtered through dense forest canopy, dappling a solitary figure hunched by a flickering, small fire. It was Logan, his rugged form outlined against the faint glow, his movements deliberate, unburdened by companionship. No bright yellow and blue, just the muted tones of deep forest night. The soft crackle of the campfire was the only sound breaking the deep, encompassing quiet of the wilderness. He meticulously sharpened a hunting knife, the faint glint of the blade catching the fire's amber light with each stroke. His leather jacket, scarred and worn from countless nights under open skies, settled comfortably on his broad shoulders. The air, cool and crisp, carried the distinct, earthy smell of wood smoke and damp leaves. This was a man forged in solitude, a predator in his own wilderness, far from any dream of brotherhood. He seemed at peace in his own harsh way. Logan shifts, his eyes scanning the tree line. The scent of damp earth and ancient pine deepens around you. His rough, calloused hands slowly tend the small fire. A quiet crackle is the only sound breaking the forest stillness. He doesn't look for company. This solitary vigil feels familiar to him. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as a glint of metal catches the pale moonlight. His adamantium claws, sheathed, rest against his forearm. They are a silent promise of his readiness. The ancient trees stand as silent witnesses to his long journey. He has walked countless miles alone. No guiding voice, no team to call upon. The story draws inward, where a sense of quiet determination settles upon Logan. He watches the embers fade, a faint wisp of smoke curling into the cool night air. The chill deepens as dawn approaches. He rises, a faint crunch of pine needles under his worn boots. There is no regret in his movements, only the practiced rhythm of a predator preparing to roam. Logan's gaze drifts from the fire, sweeping the dense tree line. You feel a subtle shift in the air, a colder current moving through the pines. His hand moves, not to the fire, but to a small, weathered stone. It lies half buried in the damp earth near his knee. He picks it up, turning it slowly. You are drawn to its silent history, the quiet carried forward, revealing a faint etching on the stone's surface. Not a symbol, but a precise, almost surgical cut, too clean for nature. Logan's thumb brushes the groove. A faint scent of metallic earth rises, old and iron-like. He stares, not at the stone, but into the darkness beyond. He carefully places the stone back on the damp earth. The small fire crackles, a gentle, rhythmic sound against the night. He draws his knees closer, pulling a worn blanket tighter around his shoulders. The air now feels warmer, thick with pine and wood smoke. A deep, simple calm settles over the scene, an acceptance. The ancient trees stand guard in silent repose. The faint etching on the stone captivated his gaze. It was a scar, deliberate and precise, unlike any natural mark. A subtle hum seemed to emanate from it, though it was likely just imagination. He turned the stone over, his thumb tracing the fine line again. A forgotten history, perhaps ancient and dangerous, stirred in the quiet. The metallic earth scent intensified around his fingers. Logan gently placed the stone back onto the damp earth. Its secret remained unspoken. A quiet calm settled over the clearing. The fire, now well tended, emitted a soft, steady crackle. He leaned back slightly, his posture relaxing into the forest floor. The scent of pine and rich soil filled the cool air. The deep silence invited reflection. Logan's gaze drifted to his sheathed adamantium claws, resting against his forearm. They were cold, heavy. A lifetime of solitary battles, of choices made without a guiding hand, echoed in the stillness. He had walked this wild path alone for so long. No team, no common cause, only the endless road. Logan's eyes, though focused on the dancing flames, saw more than just light. He pondered the faint, metallic cut on the stone. It felt like a memory, distant and just out of reach, a scar not on his flesh, but on the silent history of the world. He wondered if other similar marks lay hidden, waiting to be found. The cool night air brushed his face, carrying the scent of ancient pine. A soft rustle in the undergrowth caught his attention. He didn't tense, merely acknowledged it. Most things in this forest knew to give him a wide berth. The world outside these woods, however, was less respectful. He remembered echoes of distant conflicts, rumors of powers clashing without a core. Without a true north, he closed his eyes briefly. The familiar thrum of his healing factor was a quiet song beneath his skin. It had always been there, a stubborn refusal to break. This lonely path was one he chose, not one forced upon him. The X-Men, their grand visions, their unified purpose, those were distant dreams for others. For him, there was only the cold earth, the watchful trees, and the silent, constant promise of his own strength. The world felt lost, without a true north. That thought settled on him like mist on ancient trees. He knew the chaos beyond this forest. Without a guiding hand, without Savior's dream, powers clashed. They were more brutal, less contained. Moving deeper into the scene, the forest floor absorbed every sound. It was a silent witness to his existence. He had made a choice long ago. He walked this solitary path. It wasn't always peaceful, but it was his. The X-Men were a distant echo, if they still existed. Without his fierce, brutal presence, their approach must have changed. He imagined their struggles, the gaps his absence had left. A world without his adamantium claws felt fragile. The quiet carried forward, revealing the true weight of that thought. A world without a true north. It meant powers unchecked, a fragile balance shattered. Logan knew this truth in his bones. He had seen glimpses, felt the tremors. The metallic tang on the stone felt like a metaphor. Moving deeper into the scene, the fire offered scant comfort. He watched the embers dance. They were like distant hopes, fleeting and bright. He remembered whispers from the past. A man with a dream. A promise of belonging. A new detail emerges, soft and unhurried, as the forest enveloped him. The damp earth cooled his bare hands. He felt the roots beneath him, strong and deep. They mirrored his own resilience. The world outside could rage, but here, within these silent trees, he found his center. The quiet carried forward, revealing the true weight of that thought. A world without a true north. It meant powers unchecked, a fragile balance shattered. Logan knew this truth in his bones. He had seen glimpses, felt the tremors. The metallic tang on the stone felt like a metaphor. The forest began to assert its gentle presence once more. The distant hum faded, replaced by the soft whisper of leaves overhead. He released his fist, the tension draining slowly from his shoulders. This wildness, it echoed his own untamed spirit. He had chosen to be a force of nature, rather than a weapon forged for another's war. A different kind of strength, perhaps. He watched the moon climb higher, a silent guardian in the vast, stardusted sky. His path was solitary, but it was his own. No uniforms, no commands, just the endless rhythm of the wild. He felt the damp earth beneath him, cool and constant. The world might be lost without its true north, but he had found his own. A quiet resolve settled deep within him, warm like the lingering embers, steady like the ancient stones around his fire. He closed his eyes, letting the forest enfold him in its timeless embrace. A gentle peace settling over him. Logan's quiet reflection deepened. His chosen path, he knew, was a different kind of vigil. It was not built on a grand dream, but on stark survival. The ancient forest around him seemed to confirm his purpose. He guarded his own fierce peace, a small, unyielding eddy against the vast, global chaos. This solitary path, though often shadowed, felt profoundly honest. The quiet carried forward, revealing a subtle truth. This self-imposed exile was far from passive. Logan moved with purpose. His senses, honed by decades spent in the wild, picked up distant signals. A faint, metallic scent drifted on the cool night breeze, hinting at forgotten skirmishes far away. He perceived the wider world through the fractured lens of its chaos, where the lines between hero and monster had irrevocably